as you know, sailing beautifully down the various seas. It wasn't just a canal, it was a lot of other places. And I will accept their word, and we are going to stop the bombing of the Houthis, effective immediately.
Sailing down various seas.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, the thing here that's like annoying is the Houthis were actually not attacking American ships, post ceasefire. Like they ceased all activity during the ceasefire. And then when the ceasefire is over, they resumed attacks on Israeli assets, but not on U.S. assets until we started bombing them. So this deal was previously in place and has been on offer effectively the entire time, something that Ryan has been, reporting and pointing to. But specifically, Dropsite had an interview with a Houthi official, and where he laid out, hey, if you guys, if you stop bombing us, we are happy to stop bombing U.S. ships and focus more specifically on Israel, I think is the other side of that. And Dropsite was really criticized, often has been criticized for talking to officials from whether it's the Houthis or Jeremy Scahill just had another interview with a Hamas official. And yet that interview ends up being influential in leading the U.S. to a better policy, to a better policy vis-a-vis Yemen and the Houthis. So kudos to Ryan and Dropsite. And it's good to see, some sense coming back to this, because not only was the policy foolish and expensive, it was putting U.S. lives at risk. You had that situation with the fighter jet falling off of the aircraft carrier because they had to make some sudden maneuver to avoid Houthi attacks. And then also it was absolutely horrific inside of Yemen because we've just been brazenly bombing civilian assets and killing civilians. I mean, Trump bragged about bombing this group of, tribal gathering that he was claiming was a meeting of Houthi militants or whatever, just total lies. We bombed a migration center that was holding a bunch of, where a bunch of African migrants were as well, and killed them. So it's good to see that they decided to take the Houthis up on their offer here of, hey, you stop bombing us, we'll stop bombing you.
And meanwhile, we have some video of bombings in Lebanon just over the last 24 hours that we can go ahead and roll. You can see this coming up on your screen. This is going to be D3. This is footage from yesterday, Crystal. If you're listening to this, what you're seeing is an airplane just completely on fire. This is the Sanaa airport, which was targeted by airstrikes from Israel just yesterday. As the person who posted this points out, the civilian terminal was blown apart, and you see planes burning on the tarmac.
Yeah, just horrific damage to Yemen, one of the poorest countries in the region, and has been, rocked by a civil war, one side of which was funded by the U.S., horrific issues with famine, and now this being caught in the middle of this conflict. And, for the Houthis have asserted, they have been one of the few groups that has really said, listen, we are going to take action in response to Israel's genocide in Gaza. And it was quite clear that no amount of bombs was going to dissuade them from continuing in that direction. And, they were just able to strike, Ben Gurion Airport and been saying, hey, we're going to institute an air blockade. Now they don't have that kind of capability, but that was a huge demonstration of strength, et cetera. So quite significant there.
Yeah, absolutely. We have video here of a Yemeni man sort of delivering a message to the U.S. and Israel. We can roll D4. So he's saying America and Israel, today they are attacking a civilian facility. Why are you trying to scare us with America? You won't weaken us, or what are you trying to scare us, America? Or you will not shake us in the slightest. You were covering our feet with plastic, America. Plastic, he's yelling. What are the Americans doing by targeting vital institutions, the infrastructure, the civilians? So it's a desperate situation, to be sure. Israel is saying that they completely disabled that airport in Yemen yesterday as well. And another thing to note, this is quite interesting, D5, this is a Reuters report that came out yesterday as well. The next round of Iran-U.S. nuclear talks are likely to be in Oman over the weekend. And an AP story notes that the foreign minister of Oman, who's been mediating between the U.S. and the Houthis, is also mediating between America and Iran over the nuclear question. So maybe, Crystal, just to tie a bow on this block, that goes back to the big announcement that Trump has been teasing. What did he say? It was as big as can possibly be, big as can be, something like that. Who knows? But quite a significant, I think, connection that the same mediator is going between the U.S. and the Houthis, and also the United States and Iran.
Reports are that Israel was also like caught off guard by this quote unquote deal with the Houthis and the US. And, you know, it's always a good sign when we're doing things that are upsetting to or surprising or unnerving the Israelis. So we'll take that for what it's worth. Good to see the Iranian negotiations continue. And, you know, hopefully something comes out of that. I mean, it's again kind of ironic because probably what will be achieved is effectively a return to the deal that was negotiated under Obama. I'm sure it'll have some face-saving flourishes so Trump can say this is greater and better and bigger, whatever, than what Obama was able to achieve. But the bottom line is the contours will probably be quite similar to the Iranian nuclear deal that was struck under Obama, that Trump himself got out of and excoriated as being so incredibly terrible. But, you know, if he's able to renegotiate something akin to that and the Iranians agree to it, you know, it'd certainly be vastly better outcome than us marching into war with Iran, a possibility that certainly remains on the table. And we've seen a lot of belligerent talk from, you know, Pete Hegseth and others with regard to that.
Yeah, I mean, and this is an administration that is staffed, and we'll talk to Mark Lucas about this, I imagine, later in the show. It's staffed by people who are, you know, sort of surprisingly, well, it's not surprising if you follow this stuff, but let's say increasingly anti-interventionist from the perspective of like the standards of your typical Republican administration, but also sort of normie Republicans. Mike Huckabee, by the way, remains the ambassador to Israel. So it just, you know, it's easy to be cynical about what's possible in both of these, whether it's Iran or the Houthis, ultimately, when you have such vociferous opposition to actually, like the Trump-Witkoff, what they seem to want out of this. I mean, it's hard to know with Trump, but certainly it's also kind of hard to know with Witkoff because he goes back and forth on things after he gets pressure from one side and pressure from another side. But we'll see how this goes over the weekend. We'll see what Donald Trump's big announcement is. He's obviously traveling, so there will be much more to come on this front.
Hey, if you liked that video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Breaking Points.
If you want to see the rest of Counterpoints, go to breakingpoints.com to become a premium member and get the full uncut show every morning in your inbox and on Spotify.